Dan with Guardian Mold Prevent here. Wanted to take a look with you at an attic space that is located in Willowbrook, Illinois. As you can see, we're in the attic and on the underside of the plywood sheathing and also on the rafters. There's a considerable amount of mold growth that has developed. This home is for sale. Home inspector for a potential buyer came in, looked at the attic space, and flagged the home because of the mold. In order to sell this house and to keep the buyers at the table, the homeowners are having us out to take a look at the mold and to put together a scope of work to determine what is necessary to remove the mold. The problem in this attic is there's improper ventilation. There's just not enough, and so the warm air is being trapped in the winter. It's reaching the ice-cold roofing members, reaching dew point, condensating, and then causing mold growth. Now we're going to look at a diagram here that shows what the attic construction is supposed to be like. You can see that there's a barrier of insulation on the ceiling that's supposed to keep the house heat down and out of the attic. And then at the overhangs, you'll see that there are supposed to be vents. They're called soffit vents. They allow cold air to get up into the attic space during the winter. And then at the top, you've got upper ventilation that creates a draw. Those two areas of ventilation need to be working in unison to force any warm air that is in the attic space out and get fresh cold air in the wintertime so there's no condensation. Now when we look back into the attic space here, you're going to notice that there actually is no upper ventilation in this roof at all. The video is very dark, and we did that on purpose. We wanted you to be able to see the daylight through any potential vents that were up on this roof. But as you can see, there is no upper ventilation, so there's no place for any warm air that gets up into there to escape, and it gets trapped, and again, it reaches dew point against the cold wood, condensates, and causes mold. Now, as we look at the bathroom exhaust fan, they've connected it with a tin line, they've run it up to the roof, and then across the entire span of the roof. It's actually improperly done. What they do now is they actually take the vents, they connect them directly out through the roof using a dedicated connection and insulated vent line, so they minimize the amount of heat loss that ends up taking place. Now, I wanted to look at the insulation. You can see that there's what appears to be sparkly gold insulation in this attic space. It's called fool's gold or vermiculite. You've got to be very careful when handling it because there is a percentage of vermiculite that's out there that has some content of asbestos in it. Now, the last thing I wanted to look at in this attic space was the overhangs on the outside of the house. When you look up above the windows, below the gutters, at the soffits, you'll notice that there is no vents cut into the roof. So we had no upper ventilation and no lower ventilation, and this is the area where the cold air would come in, supply that attic with the right temperatures so that there is no temperature differential between the ice cold surfaces and the air.